Get everyone to take their seats, please. Okay. And let's see, Councilmember Lincoln, will you please lead us in the pledge?
Yes, my pleasure.
Yeah.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please take your seats. And right, we will call the roll momentarily, but first, I would ask that we observe a moment of silence for Sean McCracken, great public servant and friend of the council for more than 2 decades. We do have in front of us a memorial. I ask all of you to turn to that. Mr. McCracken was a top environmental aide to Mayor Levine Cava, who I see on the has joined us on the Zoom today. So Mr. McCracken's last post was Director of Policy for Mayor Levine Cava. Mayor Levine Cava, would you, who, for those of you that don't know, is the former chair of the SFRPC, would you care to make any comments, Madam Mayor?
I would, and thank you so very much for doing this, Mr. Chair, and to everybody for taking the time. Sean McCracken worked with me for 10 years. He was a county leader, as you mentioned, on environmental issues for 30 plus years, but not just environmental. He truly was a scholar of county government, and he was my right-hand guide on almost everything that I did. So for me personally, as I've lost a dear friend and a mentor, someone who pretty much taught me what I needed to know to be able to take on roles like chairing the Regional Planning Council, and was by my side throughout. It's not just for me, it's for the entire county. We've received so many accolades from the community, from his fellow workers, from all levels of government. There will be a memorial on March 17th in the afternoon at the Deering Estate in South Miami-Dade, and we'll share those details. And we also have a memorial post that where people have been able to send messages to each other and to the family. And I know the family has taken great comfort. He did struggle with cancer for 2 years. He was quite quiet about that. And he worked until the very last minute because he cared so much and loved his work so much. So thank you everyone for recognizing the incredible contribution that he has made. Pretty much every day I am reminded this was Sean's, this was Sean's, this was Sean's. And we have a saying now in the mayor's office, we all have to be Sean. So we have many Seans to carry on with his work. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We know you have a busy schedule. If you want, for old time's sake, to continue to watch the rest of the you're certainly welcome to, but we understand what your calendar is. So thank you for being here today for in memory of Sean.
And thank you for carrying on the important work that you do. And it was great honor of a lifetime to serve as chair. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Isabel.
Yes, and thank you, Chair, and thank you all. I just wanted to take a minute. So when I came to the council in '96, that's where I met Sean. And so Sean and I were very good friends. And I also want to point out that he uniquely was the chief of staff legislative policy person for not just Mayor Levine Cava when she was our chair commissioner, but also for Miami-Dade County Commissioner Dean Monestein, and also for Miami-Dade County Commissioner Katie Sorensen. So you can see he was really family to us here, and a very good friend, dear friend, and I'll miss him. But I just wanted to just point out that his legacy with the council itself really spans decades. So, and amazing person.
Okay. Was there anyone else?
Chair.
If not, thank you, Mayor Cava.
Thanks, everybody. for the tribute.
All right, at this point, what? I was about to say, at this point in time, will you please call the roll?
Bailey? Kaplan?
Here.
Kate's? Cordino?
I'm here.
Burr? Garcia? Gilbert? Goldberg?
Here.
Portland? Here. Kaufman?
Here.
Thank you. Lincoln? Here. McGee? Ross?
Present.
Udine?
Here.
Davila?
John's on for DEP.
Win?
Shirini Fong for that win.
Thank you, Shereen. Villaboy?
Here.
Geller?
Here.
Mr. Chair, for the record, you have a quorum under the statute, section 120.525, subsection 4. We have a third of the membership physically present. Others are on the Zoom and are on, and appropriately are made present. We'll be conducting a business this morning. Thank you.
Thank you. Isabel, will you introduce our new SFRPC
Yes,
staff member?
please, Alex, if you would please to stand up for a minute. I'm delighted to introduce you all to the newest member of council staff, Alexander Santana. He joined us as administrative coordinator, and I'm sure he will be zooming up from that very soon. Very talented. And I included in your council meeting package, his professional experience, his great educational background, and I have to say, just a few short week that we've been working together, he has an exemplar temperament that I hope all of us can learn from. Because he's just really very nice and easy on the nerves and very professional. So thank you, Alex, and welcome. And I don't know if you want to say anything, Alex, but if you do, I'm sure the chair wouldn't mind.
Well, Alex, please
Thank
make
you
some
so
brief remarks.
Thank you so much, Chairman Isabel. I'm really excited to join the council, and I look forward to working with all the council members and the staff any way I can to help. I've heard a lot of great things about the council and all the great work you've done over the many decades now, and I look forward to helping and joining the council. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Alex. Thank you. Thanks, Chairman.
Okay, thank you. And I know we have a large audience today. If there are any elected officials in the audience, I would invite them to move to the head table. Right, and please introduce yourselves to the rest of the.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Vice Mayor Alexander Davis, City of Miramar. And to my.
Good morning. I'm Kelvin Baker, Deputy City Manager, City of Miramar.
Okay, I recognize Commissioner Davis. I did not recognize you, sir. Okay, thanks. Let me quickly go over our items. So, has everybody had the opportunity to review the minutes of our prior meetings? And if so, is there a motion?
So moved.
Commissioner Kaplan moves, seconded by Mayor Ross, to approve the minutes of the prior meeting. Is there any discussion? Is there any debate? Seeing no discussion or debate, all those in favor of approving the minutes, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Show the minutes adopted. At this point, Leo, you're up for the financial report.
Well, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Brought some good news today. So everyone goes to page 1 of the financial report. We will see that under the general fund, the assets increased by $44,946, as well as liabilities and fund balance. In the federal, state, and local fund, assets increased by $44,719, as well as liabilities and fund balance. The revolving loan funds increased by $22 its assets as well as liabilities on fund balance. And the Prosperity Institute includes its assets in $146 as well as liabilities on fund balance. We go to page 2. As the income statement, we'll see that total revenues are at 61% of the budget for the year, at 33.33% of the fiscal year lapsed. The expense report shows that we're at 31% of the expenses for the year. So we're on a good track.
Very good, sir. Commissioner Udine, I always rely on you for financial stuff. Everything look good to you?
It looks good to me. I make a motion to accept and approve the reports.
We'll move by Commissioner Udine. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilmember Lincoln. Any debate? Any debate? Seeing no debate, all those in favor of approving, or excuse me, of accepting the report, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Show that adopted unanimously.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Leo. We are now on the consent agenda for comp plan amendment reviews. I will ask Mr. Gorin to read the proposed comprehensive plan amendment reviews, after which we'll have the public hearings.
Thank you, Senator Chair. For the record, item number 4C on the consent agenda, there are several, all of which have a public hearing component. Any member of the public or others who came out to speak either for or against any item that's set forth on the consent agenda has the right to be heard under state statute. The first of which is Monroe County 24-01A CSC. Next is the Village of Biscayne Park 24-01 ESR. Next is the City of Coconut Creek 24-01 ER. Next, please, is the City of Margate 24-01 ESR. Next, please, North Bay Village 24-01 ESR. Next, the City of North Miami 24-01 ER. Next, the City of Opa-locka 24-01 ER. Next up, the City of Parkland 24-01 ESR. And that, for the record, Mr. Chair and members of the council, represents those which are the proposed items. And again, public hearing in any one of them for the purposes of discussion. Should any member of the public be here to speak for or against the item, or if professional staff would like to be heard on any one item in connection with each individual. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. The public hearing is now open on the consent comprehensive plan amendment reviews. Is there anybody present in person that wishes to speak on any of these items? Seeing none, is there anybody present online? Please let me know if there's anybody present online. There's nobody present online. Therefore, the public hearing is now closed on the consent item. Sam, is it one? I'm trying to remember if it's one vote or a separate vote.
Absent any public comment, and such should all be together, Mr. Chair.
All right. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Horland, seconded by Councilmember Lincoln. Mayor Ross, you're getting a little slow. All those in favor of adopting the consent comp plan amendments, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Show that adopted unanimously. We are now on the adopted public hearing plan amendments. Mr. Gorin, please read the
Thank
calendar.
you, Senator Chair Geller. For the record, again, public hearing on any one of the items which are on the agenda. Any member of the public who's come today to speak for or against any of the adopted land use amendments has the right to be heard through the chair. For the record, they are as follows: the Broward County Amendment 23-03 ESR. Next up is Monroe County 23-02 ACSC. Next is the City of Homestead 23-02 ESR. Next up is the Village of Islamorada, Village of Islands, Isles 23-01 ACSC. Next up is the City of Marathon 23-03 ACSC. Next up, the City of Miami 23-04 ESR. And last but not least, the City of West Miami 23-01 ESR for the public record and for consideration this morning. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. You always say last but not least. I'm always wondering if that's not least, which of them is?
I'm not sure.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
A public hearing is now open on the adopted comprehensive plan amendments. Is there anybody present in person that wishes to speak on any of these items? Seeing none, is there anybody present online that wishes to speak? Please show the public hearing closed. And is there a motion?
So moved.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Kaplan, seconded by Mayor Ross. Closer. I know when you have to unmute, that takes just a second. All those in favor of the adopted public hearing, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Show that adopted unanimously. We're now on regional issues comprehensive plan amendment review. We have broken these three out because these are more substantive. And I do believe that I believe that's the reason that the city of Miramar is here to speak on one of them. No? Okay.
Those are all in South Data.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Well, in any event, we've broken these three out because these are somewhat more substantive. So, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I'd like to recognize that we have Alex down back here from Miami-Dade County RER, which is important for these amendments go through RER. Obviously, before they come to us, they go to RER, the commission, and they're transmitted to us. Christina Miska is our principal planner, is here to speak to these amendments. There's three of them. And again, as the chair mentioned, I didn't want to put them on the consent agenda, even though we did not identify any regional issues at this time. Because they are more substantive. And then I will just remind the board that the way this expedited process works. When we're commenting, we're still waiting for commenting agencies.
Hold on.
Clean this up a little more. Do you
Somebody
mind if
who
I
is
just
online,
circulate it
please
back to
mute.
both of you all later today, just for.
It was Alex.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, great. Well, I guess he was getting ready to say something.
Okay.
So we are awaiting comments and our staff analysis recognizes that. Christina, would you like to say
And
anything?
the reason that we've broken these out is all three of these are partially or entirely outside of the urban development boundary, the UDB. But remember, we are not the ones that decide whether or not it's a good idea or a bad idea. Our review is limited to certain specific issues. Mr. Gorin, can you please elaborate on what our review is limited to?
Limited, if I may, Mr. Chair, thank you for the record. You're limited to regional issues under the statute, under section 163.84. You have the obligation and the opportunity to, in fact, note for the record comments, take public comment, take public testimony as the case may be, as the appropriate regional planning council would. So any comments that you make will be transisted and transferred to the appropriate agency, which would be Miami-Dade County, reserving and preserving the legal rights to comment further in the future, as the case may be. And that preservation of rights is something which the council cherishes and has done so for many years. Choose to do it here. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the attorney? If not,
May I?
Christina? Yes, of course.
When you
Councilmember
talk about
Kaplan.
regional impacts, examples, would traffic, for example, be a regional impact? Traffic congestion?
Yes.
Right.
Or no. The answer is if there's something in North Dade that would affect Broward, that would be a regional impact. If there's something in South Dade that would affect another part of South Dade, well, if it would affect Monroe, it would be a regional impact. But if it's just affecting Miami-Dade County, then my understanding is it's not. Although, Sam, if it affects different municipalities, it would, but not if it's bad traffic, but only in one government entity. Is that
Let
correct?
me just, yes,
Yeah,
on the
please.
record, it may help you. The subsection in the statute, which you relied upon in prior occasions, says the following. Comments to the local government from a regional planning council, county, or municipality shall be limited as follows. And the subsection says, the regional planning council review and comments shall be limited to adverse impacts on regional resources or facilities identified in a strategic regional policy plan and extra jurisdictional impacts that would be inconsistent with the comprehensive plan of any affected local government within the region. The regional planning council may not review and comment on a proposed comprehensive plan amendment prepared by such council unless the plan amendment has been changed by the local government subsequent to the preparation of the plan amendment by the regional planning council. So kind of consistent with your comments, Mr. Chair, and those of professional staff obviously relate to that which is provided for in the statute and upon which you can comment. Thank you.
So I know, again, if it affects other counties, we can comment. If it's affecting it, let's say it's unincorporated, Dade County, or, of course, there is no unincorporated in Broward County. If it's unincorporated, well, there is, I represent part of it, but it's 1.5% of the county. If there is something in unincorporated Dade that would affect the city of Blackacre, all us lawyers recognize Blackacre and Whiteacre as the two fictitious governments. If it affects the city of Blackacre, also, do we have jurisdiction or no?
Technically, yes.
Okay, thank you. Did that answer your question?
And if
Commissioner Kaplan?
it's in Blackacre and it affects Whiteacre.
Right.
Same result.
Yes. That
Yes.
fully answer, okay.
So through the
Now,
chair, could just
I was
say-
gonna call on Christine, yes.
Oh, I just want to mention, thank
Of
you,
course.
Chair, that please, among our commenting agencies is the Florida Department of Transportation. We also reach out to the Turnpike, we, different agencies to
Thank
get
you for
comment.
reminding me. Yes, which, thank you for reminding me. In the past, we have basically voted some down simply because we didn't have the required comments from specifically, I think it was AFDA.
Right.
But this time, Isabel has spoken with, or communicated with all of the agencies asking for their comments, asking if they had problems. And my understanding is that even if we don't have formal reports yet, we don't, but let me call on Christina
Yeah,
to
yeah. That
elaborate.
would be great.
Sure. So we did, the major issues we were concerned about were effects on military installations that are regional by nature. We did check with Homestead Air Reserve Base, the community plan was there, and they did not have any issues. They thoroughly reviewed these comprehensive plan amendments. The other agency that we consulted in detail with was the South Florida Water Management District, as water supply is a major regional issue. They did not have any immediate apparent issues with these comprehensive plan amendments. But overall, we recognize that, amendments and cloud to UDB are not within the local vision for the county and by nature do go against some of the policies in the strategic regional policy plan because it does affect the depletion of agricultural land and it may or may not contribute to urban sprawl and development patterns that are not sustainable over time. In terms of their direct impacts on regional resources, we did not have sufficient information in these comprehensive plan amendment packages to determine that there would definitely be a negative impact on a regional resource.
All right, there may or may not be questions for Ms. Smith. If so, are there any questions? Or first, do we want,
And we
let
have
me-
the staff person.
okay.
Alex.
let me take questions first.
Mhm.
And then depending on whether or not there's questions or whether it looks like it'll be unanimous vote, I will call on Mr. Dombach. Are there any questions first? Are there any questions? Seeing no question, yes, I'm sorry.
The deviation,
Councilmember Kaplan.
the deviation from the regional policy plan itself is maybe a recognized consequence, but it's not within our review purview.
That's a question I would ask our attorney.
Also an interpretation of the statute. This council is a policy decision-making body. You're not a permitting body, which you might have been back in the day before they changed the legislation that gave you that authority. There's a gray line sometimes between those issues, and I think that you've taken steps to be respectful of other local governments, but also where you felt the need to comment, you also provided comments. So I would not be under liberal in the context of that broad-based interpretation of the statute. This council has a rich history of commenting on the margins from time to time for the potential of losing the opportunity to comment in the future.
Thank you.
Did that fully answer your question, Councilmember?
It provokes further thinking, but yes.
It's okay. I did also want to recognize that Councilmember Bailey and Councilmember Garcia are now both present, former Chair Bailey as well as Councilmember Garcia. Okay, are there any questions based on Councilmember Kaplan's questions? Are there any questions of Ms. Miskus? Seeing none. Mr. Dombach, did you wish to comment?
I really, Good morning, everyone, and thank you for allowing us to join. Also with me is Glenn Amoruso, also of Miami-Dade County, and he also worked on one of the three cases that's before you. And then Corianne Delane is also here from our staff. We really were here to answer any questions. These three are interesting because they are a request to amend our comprehensive development master plan, and so I guess if the plan were amended, then they would correspond with the plan. But that's what's pending right now, and you are aware of the staff recommendations and the initial votes to transmit for all three. So
thank you, sir.
Thank
Again, I might not, were I a Dade County Commissioner, might or might not, I have no opinion, haven't heard anything on this, vote to amend the urban development boundary, but that's really not within our jurisdiction, whether the UDB should be amended. That is a Dade County issue. So, Councilmember Bailey, were you trying to speak? I see you're not on mute.
It was just a motion to approve.
Okay. I'll take that in one moment. I just want to find out, is there any debate? Anyone else comment? If not, I'll take Chair Bailey. Yes.
With your permission, if I can just read into the record the three numbers for the record.
Yes, sir. Please read.
So it can attenuate to that item when you get to your next set of minutes. This is item for the record 4D, Romanet 1, 2, and 3. Number 1 is the Miami-Dade County 24-01 ESR. Romanet 2 is Miami-Dade County 24-02 ESR. And number 3, Romanet 3, Miami-Dade County 24-03 ESR, to which Mr. Dombeck commented and which staff presented as well. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, I will take, can we vote on the three together or
No.
separately? Separately, okay. I will take Chair Bailey's motion as a motion for all three, so I will call them separately. Seconded, about very good. By former Chair Ross also. So first, we will vote on motion to approve 2401 ESR. Motion by Chair Bailey for all three of these, seconded by Mayor Ross. All those in favor?
Read the whole thing because it's different.
Okay, Sam, will you please read number 1?
Thank you.
Which the item is
Approve, yeah, Miami-Dade.
The recommendation by council staff.
Okay, I'll read it. There's a motion to approve Miami-Dade 24-01 ESR and this report for transmittal to the local governments with a copy to the State Land Planning Agency. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Show that approved unanimously. Again, the motion seconded to approve Miami-Dade 24-02 ESR and this report for transmittal to the local governments with a copy to the State Land Planning Agency with note of the 2 text amendments that should be denied. Is there, seeing no debate, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Show that approved unanimously. And finally, a motion to approve Miami-Dade 2403 ESR and this report for a transmittal to the local government with the copy of the State Land Planning Agency with note of the consultation area of the Florida bonneted bat, pending comments from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. I've always been very fond of the bonneted bat. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Show that approved unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Dombeck, for being present. Okay, we're on nominating committee. You have that in front of you. The nominating committee met whenever? Friday. Thank you. Okay. And you have that in front of you. The report, the nominating committee unanimously voted to recommend the following slate of officers for 2024. Chair, me, first vice chair, council member Lincoln, second vice chair, Senator Garcia. Treasurer, Carrie Goldberg. Carrie, are you still on? Carrie Goldberg, are you still on?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know if anybody has told you that you've been recommended for treasurer. But if not, you've been recommended for treasurer. You did indicate that you wanted to get onto the onto the Officers Executive Committee. Secretary Denise Orland, and guess what, Mario, you're still gonna be immediate past chair. That is the, motion from the nominating committee. Is there anyone, or are there any questions? Is there any debate? I guess the nominating committee moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Kaplan. Any discussion? Not, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Aye, opposed? Show these nominating committee recommendations adopted. Statement of organization. There are some changes that are in front of you. This has been circulated. Most of them are record keeping. For example, as you can see, represent from the Department of Transportation. We need to clarify its representatives for District 4 and District 6. And because that's the way it's done, there is no such thing as Enterprise Florida any longer. So that's been changed to the Department of Commerce. And there's language that says if a member of the executive committee misses 3 consecutive meetings without approval, that they're removed. Is there a motion to adopt? Moved by Councilmember Councilmember Kaplan, seconded by Councilmember Orland. Is there any debate? Any debate? If not, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Show that adopted. Councilmember Councilmember, I'm just trying to do this though. Quick. Executive Director Cosio Carballo, you're recognized.
Thank you, thank
To
you.
discuss the SFRPC TCRPC joint meeting draft agenda.
But wait, there's more.
But wait.
So before I do that, I just want to take the opportunity now that the motion has passed to add a representative from DOT 6 to introduce you to the representative from, DOT 4 to represent you to her. Her name is Lori Harari, and she is with the Policy and Mobility Planning area, and she is going to be joining DAT on the board as an ex officio member moving forward.
Hi,
Welcome.
can I say anything?
Thank you. I'm very honored to serve in my capacity as appropriate. Coming from my boundary, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, back to the draft agenda, as you know, or hopefully will know, what we have started doing is having at least 3 major meetings per year. We have one major SFRPC meeting, which will be coming up under discussion items. We have a major joint SFRPC TCRPC meeting. TCRPC is Treasure Coast Regional Planning Council, which is Palm Beach, Martin, St. Lucie, Indian River counties. And between the SFRPC, Monroe, Dade, Broward, and the TCRPC, Palm Beach, Martin, St. Lucie, Indian River County, we have over 10 million people. About 9.
6.8.
Well, no, just Dade and Broward, and Monroe are close to that,
Right,
right?
it's not near term.
Okay, well,
It's like around, let's say 7.
okay. A lot of people,
And when the
a
tourists come, it's even
substantial
more.
portion of the state of Florida. We see Dade is 2.8, Broward's 2, so 4, but you're right, so 4.9. It's 6.8 or 9 with the TCRPC, right? Okay, so then we have just a regular joint meeting with the TCRPC that instead of just making it a small, we now have these as big things where we discuss substantive issues. So we've done solid waste as a joint conference. We've done recycling as a joint conference. We've done first and last mile just as a SFRPC. We did as a joint last year major meeting, but not conference, with SFRPC and TCRPC, water issues. So we're doing a lot of major things now. Isabel, tell us what we're doing at
Yes,
our
okay.
meeting on March 15th.
So as you know, the the preparation for these meetings, we all work together, but they alternate. So the good news for us is that this year Treasurer Coast is in charge of doing the heavy logistical work. And that the meeting will be held in now Palm Beach. Please make sure this is on your agenda. It's really important for y'all to come. The good news is that it's easily accessible by Brightline or Tri-Rail. And it'll take you right to the West Palm Beach station, and apparently it's fairly easy then to get over to the Transportation Planning Agency, which is where it will be held. So the TPA is like the NPO or the TPO. And we will be sending out this week, I think, a save the date to our key partners, particularly our elected officials. And you have the agenda draft, and we're working on it Friday. We're filling in some names. But I'm very happy to say that we're gonna be getting an update from Mr. Deck, who's the executive director of the Transportation Authority. And the focus on the issue, something that is on everybody's minds, is property insurance and what's going on with property insurance. So we also have an update coming from Mr. Book, Ron Book, our Tallahassee representative. And he has been confirmed as of Friday. He was sent to this before. But really the meat of the program, and it's going to be a working launch, is the property insurance crisis and possible solutions. And fortunately for us, we have the subject matter expert right here. So we don't have to go look for him. Sorry. So now we're gonna confirm some speakers, and I'll let you go through the rest if you like to.
No, we're gonna be, I think all of us know what a huge issue, the issue of property insurance rates is. It is devastating the state of Florida, but we are not really just the state of Florida. We are the canary in the coal mine, but it is spreading to any coastal region of the country. California, I think, is under 10% of people there have earthquake insurance because it's so expensive. So we're going to be discussing how we got into this situation, and then we're going to be discussing possible solutions. I had drafted legislation which Congressman Christ had filed. Congressman Moskowitz has now refiled that legislation. He is confirmed to be speaking. It basically, I'm not going to get into details, but it would set up a national natural disaster fund that would not cost Treasury a penny. And if you realize that 50–60% of your total premium goes to reinsurance, and there's ways of cutting off the top layer of reinsurance and substituting that with federal guarantees, you know, we believe that this could have a very substantial impact. It's not going to fix, there is no silver bullet, but if we can reduce rates by 20%, that's significant. It'll still be much higher than it was, but it would be a significant improvement, and we believe that's what we can do. So, are there any questions on this topic, on the SFRPC, TCRPC joint meeting? We will be inviting all of the elected officials in all 7 counties to attend. I assume we will get relatively poor attendance from Monroe and from Indian River.
Rush.
No. The two counties that are furthest away from Palm Beach, I expect are but we're hoping that we can get from the rest. And by the way, Councilmember Lincoln wins the prize. She comes here in person to every meeting, and I meant to comment at the beginning how nice it is to see you attend every meeting here. But are there any questions on this comment? Again, every elected official in the 7 county area is being invited to this. If not,
Would it be
Yes.
interesting to have someone from either the insurance, an insurance company or the insurance?
we are planning, I am inviting, hopefully today, the General Counsel of Florida Peninsula, who is a friend and who has indicated an interest in this. I just haven't checked since we just finished this on Friday, if he's clear on that date. The people we are going to definitely invite are Representative Hillary Cassell, who introduced a bipartisan, but she's the local one, a bipartisan legislation with the Republican from somewhere on the I-4 corridor, I think. I don't remember where he's from. But I know he's not local, to discuss her legislation, and we will be inviting a general counsel of an insurance company. Paul Handrahan is national president of FAIR, Federal. Yes, and Paul, that FAIR is a group that if there is any honest broker here, because it's primarily insurance companies, but it also has public adjusters and trial bar members. So they're as close as you get to a all-encompassing group. So Paul is already accepted. We will be inviting at least those two. We had been inviting an insurance agent, but we were told that Palm Beach had given us the name on. We were told on Friday that he's no longer available. So, you know, we are planning on finalizing in the next day or two who the speakers will be. If you have any suggestions, please let us know.
I
Let
will,
me know.
I'll speak with Isabel.
Okay.
He's somebody in reinsurance, but his purpose is really risk management.
Okay, well, please let Isabel know today, because we want to get everybody invited by Wednesday.
I'll do so.
Thank you, Frank. All right, is there any other question on this? If not, let me move to our public comments, and I believe that Vice Mayor Davis, and I apologize, City Manager, I don't.
Deputy City Manager Kelvin Baker.
Okay, did we work, were you for Opalaka? We worked together at Opalaka. Yeah, okay. Right. Okay, so, Vice Mayor, will you be speaking, the Assistant City Manager, or?
I'm gonna introduce him, but I'm just gonna
The floor is yours for whatever you'd like.
thank you, I appreciate it. And so, I was, actually presented this issue to the Solid Waste Governing Board with regards to the plans for Miami-Dade County to build an incinerator within a mile of our residents in Sunset Lakes, right on the border of Miramar and Miami-Dade. At that time, it was Commissioner Denise Forland that had mentioned, who's part of the governing board, that this would be something to bring to your attention here, because we really want some support in terms of where we go from here with this proposed site. The site itself is very close to the Everglades. It has close proximity to C9 Canal, where we get our drinking water. Speaking of bonneted bats, they're over there. So,
well, the bonneted bats are involved, that's it.
So what I'm gonna do is yield to Kelvin Baker, who's done a lot of research, met with some county officials, as I have, but we'll give you an overview as why we're coming to you today.
Okay. Mr. Baker, nice to see you again, sir. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Vice Mayor. Again, we are appreciative of you affording us an opportunity to just bring to your attention this issue, which we think is fairly unique, and that it certainly it's something that when you're dealing with regional issues, is something that requires much attention. Miami-Dade County has a plan to build a waste-to-energy facility on the borders of the city of Miramar, Broward County line. Some unique features about this is that it's less than a mile from a residential community, a fairly substantial size residential community.
Which one?
Sunset Lakes. And so again, substantial in size, impacting a number of families. Another issue is that you have the C9 canal that is right next to it. The C9 pretty much divides Broward and Miami-Dade County. The C9 canal is very important, and this is a point that you may want to note. It's where the drinking water system, primarily for a city of Miramar, as well as, I believe, Hollandale Beach, they draw from that system, draw from the Biscayne Aquifer system. This is somewhat the head of this body of water. So the immediate concerns is that if there's any type of chemical spill, diesel spill, whatever, from an industrial site, it pretty much puts that entire body of water at stake and literally will shut down city of Miramar's ability to be able to treat water. So that's very important. The other part is that the Water Management District has two capital projects that are funded and scheduled to start construction sometime in the next year or so, to put some systems there to better balance the Everglades.
We have spent a lot of time discussing the salinity control barriers and the risk of flooding if we don't put pumps in and larger salinity control barriers at the canals.
Yeah. Which further shows us that in looking at the site, the north and the south side of the site are conservation areas. Again, to balance the Everglades. The site that is being proposed, roughly about 75% of that site is conservation area. So if you disrupt it, you obviously create some problems with the Everglades situation. The number of endangered species on the site, the bonnet bat happens to be one. I bring that out, I heard it earlier. But that is one of many that are actually on that site and could create some other types of issues. Air quality is a big issue for Miramar, and I have to just help you to understand why this issue is so critical. We have a landfill out of Miami-Dade County that blows into Miramar. We have a blasting site in Miami-Dade County that blows into Miramar, and now the proposed waste to energy burning facility in Miami-Dade that will blow into Miramar. So as you can see, when you take all of these volatile organic compounds, these VOCs, and you put them into the air, clearly it will create greater health issues to many that are suffering from respiratory conditions. So it's a public health concern. And so these are the major items. And the unfortunate part of the whole thing is that we discovered that this was taking place, proposed to take place through a social media event. There was just no notification whatsoever. So again, it is a regional concern. But when you have a city in another county that has no rights to interfere with what's happening in the adjacent county, there is just no concerns about how it impacts another city.
I think that's what the regional planning councils are kind of designed for.
Yeah, so we're thankful and grateful for the opportunity to appear before you this morning, and we'll be happy to entertain any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Before Senator Garcia, I believe that area used to be in your Senate district. I don't know, is it in your commission district? Did you have any comments?
No, it wasn't a Senate district. No, now it's Commissioner Bermudez's area that they're talking about. And the commissioner is a proponent of having it in this district. But I think right now, there's 3 sites that are being considered. And until I guess the federal government doesn't come back and give us a green light on one of the other sites, we have pushed those 3 sites forward to figure out what the impact will be in all 3 areas. I do know that what they're talking about the incineration, it's the new technology that exists, which really mitigates a lot of the environmental concerns a lot of folks may have. And this is without standing with my personal opinions on where the incineration or the new site shall be. But the reality is that we're still far about. But I think it's important for Dade County to decide where they want that incinerator to go. So, or the new site to go. Just a much better way to drive them.
Are all 3 in Councilmember Bermuda's district or just that one?
No, sir. There's one. There's 2 in Bermuda's district actually, and then there's a 3rd site. Actually, I think all 3 might be in a site. I think you're right. I think the Doral site, the existing site, the one in Medley, and then the one up in the Everglades area. Those are the 3 sites. So I think
Okay, but
at least
it's only that one site that's near Miramar that they're complaining that.
Correct.
Thank you, Senator. Was there anything else you wanted to add? Or you're done?
I'm good.
Thank you, Senator. Okay, was there any ask or were you just here to let us know about this?
Well, we are actually doing a resolution now, to have them consider Medley side or the Okeechobee side. We want to be part of the discussion. Yes, I understand it's in Miami-Dade, but if you're looking at regional situations, I think that at a minimum, this council should be aware. Also, Broward County should be aware because it's your citizens that are, calling on you to.
I believe the area you're talking about is all represented by Senator Rich. Is that correct?
Yes, and I know she's been,
Mayor Rich, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Right.
and we did bring it up to Vice Mayor Farr.
Right.
But I'm not sure that, that was where we brought it up was in the Solid Waste Governing Board, which wasn't the place to bring it up. Maybe it's
Good,
because
it doesn't have the extra jurisdictional powers. All right.
And if you could support that resolution.
Well,
to-
Mr. Chair.
We
Mr. Chair.
can't vote on anything. Yes, Senator Garcia.
Mr. Chair, I think it's important. I don't disagree that those in the general area should be part of the conversation. I don't think that just because the residents of Miramar are outside of Dade County, they should not be part of the conversation because they should. I just think that right now,
Senator,
3
you
sites
froze.
to be considered. I do think that there's some issues with. I think it's important for Miramar to be considered as part of the conversation. Just because they are outside of Dade County, I don't think that they should be excluded from the conversation as it relates to where this new site will be. I do, however, think that these 3 sites should be put up to the federal government and let the federal government dictate what areas are possible, what areas are not. This is why I don't think we should take any position that eliminates that northwest part, the northwest site from consideration from the federal government.
Vice Mayor, obviously this matter arose on public comment, so it's not on our agenda, so we can't adopt anything. However, what I will ask, let me ask, or I guess either our chair or our attorney, is it appropriate at some point in time for us, either with or without a vote, to write to the federal government and ask that in the event that they are considering the site that borders Miramar, that they also consider Broward County and the city of Miramar, if to the extent that they are doing any consultations with local government, that they should also include for consultation and comment purposes the city of Miramar and Broward County. That's not our taking any position one way or the other, but is that an appropriate action or no?
Short answer is yes.
Okay.
Legal answer.
Yes.
The longer answer may be require more debate and discussion. You happily and correctly state that in as much as today's discussion under public comment, you cannot take any legal
Well,
action.
I'm not planning on
And that unfortunately cannot be done. However, you do have professional staff. Just as a parenthetical, there is a, just for the record, there is preserved in your rules and regulations, a policy with regard to mediation between those parties in dispute affecting issues in the region. That was not changed by the state statute that delimited or limited in some great detail your authority as a permitting agency. I put that out there only because it's truthful and it's the law, but parties have to be willing to engage in it. And that's not anything that can be discussed today, but it's simply a consideration just for those who might want to know that the mediation rule is in the Florida Administrative Code. It is 29J 3.013, which was adopted some number of years ago, which allows the council, depending upon the circumstances and the parties, either litigant or claimants, to engage in a mediation process on a regional basis. And to engage a mediator for that purpose, which has happened limitedly in the past. But when the statutes were changed some years ago to kind of limit the role and relationships that the council has, that particular requirement was not changed. And just as a historical note, if I can, Mr. Chair, the statement of organization, which you modified literally moments ago in the context of decision making, that was the transition of what used to be part of Rule 29J. It was basically not eliminated, but it was transitioned to becoming that control of the regional council. However, what is still a statewide policy in 29J is the mediation process. So we can lay that on the table just for discussion.
Okay, I would not candidly be willing, even if I could, I would not be willing to take any action without consulting at least with Commissioner Furr, who as the county representative on the Solid Waste Authority is kind of our resident expert. I'm the alternate on that, but let me call on Councilmember Kaplan first, if you had a suggestion.
I appreciate it. Finish your thought. I
Okay.
did have a precedent thought.
Well, what I was going to suggest was possibly after I consult with Councilmember Furr and Mayor Ross. Mayor Ross is the chair of the county solid waste authority and from the cities, and Councilmember Furr is the vice chair representing the county. Unfortunately, both are members of the SFRPC. I would, if they're both okay with this, and I'm not promising anything, we can perhaps put something on our next agenda only to ask. I don't think we should be taking a position without having a full hearing and everything like that. But I don't really see a problem with putting something on the next agenda, merely asking the federal government to consult with Miramar and Broward County if they are choosing something directly adjacent to Miramar and Broward County. But again, before I take any action, I would want to consult with both the chair and the vice chair of the working group, which are Mayor Ross and Commissioner Furr.
Yeah, and just to note, we did bring it up before the full governing board, and they were, the consensus was that they were interested in learning more
Right.
About this issue. And this is why
Yeah.
Commissioner Harlan brought it up as well to come here, which is what was said by Vice
Senator Garcia.
Mayor Ross, as
Okay,
well
right.
as being Furr to bring it here.
Right,
So I know
because we
you're
have
gonna bring
extra
it back to them.
jurisdictional power, they don't,
Right.
so.
So you're gonna bring it
Right.
back to them. So hopefully they say.
No,
that
I'm
they-
just gonna ask them informally, we're not gonna take it back, because
Oh.
they're both members of the SFRPC.
Right.
So actually, I would have to have our attorney contact them, since I can't speak with them.
Oh, I got you.
Not privately.
Right,
All right, perfect.
okay, yes, Isabel.
So, yes, thank you. So just so everybody knows, there is a report that was a couple months ago it's from Miami-Dade County. What it said was the subsection 3, it was the administration recommends that given the difficulty of obtaining applicable permits from the Florida Department of Environmental Protection and US EPA for any of the I'm sort of paraphrasing now, law words, but for any of the potential waste energy sites that have been evaluated, the county should present 3 alternative sites to DEP and EPA as part of a preliminary review that could be done in a 6 to 12 month period. So in this calendar year, I expect we're gonna get feedback from DEP, and I saw Mondo. Well, no, John Moore is on for DEP. We'll be getting some input from DEP, and there should be input from EPA. There's certainly nothing that precludes Broward County right now from putting something and saying, as Broward County, we're gonna write to the federal government and ask to be put on their commenting along with the adjacent cities along the line. So I mean, it's up to you,
I
Chairman.
would recommend that you contact, the mayor, because it really is, as you know, when
Yes.
we're single member districts,
Yeah.
you know, we prefer to let the commissioner from that district bring up an item, and Senator Rich is, you know, currently mayor. So if you're unable to contact her, then we'll, you know, I can talk about doing that, or a council member can talk about doing that. He's vice mayor. But you should probably contact the district commissioner first.
And so,
Okay.
I was,
So,
Mayor
yeah.
Levine Cava was here this morning.
Right.
So there's a good working relationship. There's, I think,
Right.
any number of ways that this can be approached.
And
Yeah.
To have a conversation.
as I said, Mayor Cava is a former chair of the SFRPC. So, all right, so I guess that concludes this item, and subject to, unless Mayor Ross had anything he wanted to say.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
if I can
I'm
just
sorry.
a few more comments.
Of course, Mr. Baker.
I do want to point out that, while we are, representing Miramar, this site is in close proximity to city of Pembroke Pines, Southwest Ranches, Western, and alike. So it's, you know, when you're dealing with air quality, obviously it blows, and and these locations are in close proximity.
All of those are in Senator Rich's district, with the exception of, I have half of the 8,000 people in Southwest Ranches. Okay, but, all right.
Is he saying something?
So Mayor Ross, were you speaking?
No, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mayor Ross. We will follow up with you and with Commissioner Furr and Vice Mayor. Thank you for being here. And Mr. Baker, good to see you again.
Thank you, we appreciate it. We'll follow up with Senator Nan.
Yes, and in the meantime, we'll discuss putting this on our next agenda.
Thank you so
you.
much.
Thank
We
you. Thank
appreciate
you.
all your time.
Okay.
Thank you.
And you're welcome to talk to me anytime. I just can't talk to any of the council members, as you understand, because
Right.
damn sunshine, all that. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, next, program reports, the revolving loan funds. Mr. Tart, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, council members. As Senior Loan Officer and Manager of the Revolving Loan Fund Program, I'd like to share a brief update with all of you. At a most recent RLF board meeting, which was held on January 16th, the RLF board approved $1.1 million in financing to 2 nonprofit organizations, the Housing Foundation of America and the Community Partners of South Florida. These 2 borrowers specialize in housing services and counseling to underserved families in South Florida to help address the affordable housing crisis. Subsequently, as part of this approval, the loan administration team is now currently in the process of closing $500,000 in the revolving loan to Community Partners of South Florida to help finance the construction of up to 5 single-family homes to qualified and eligible home buyers in South Florida. Additionally, the loan administration team is in the process of closing a new construction loan to the Housing Foundation of America. That's a HUD-approved nonprofit to assist with 4 new single-family homes in West Palm. Furthermore, the Housing Finance Authority of Broward County is in the process of awarding up to 4 new vacant lots as part of the Broward County's residential single-family infill lot program to our affordable housing developer,
Broward County Minorities Builders Coalition. Thus, today, I'm proud to say our affordable housing initiative, supported by both the Southeast Florida Community Development Fund Inc. and the SFRPC's RLF program, has resulted in the construction of 29 single-family homes to qualified and eligible home buyers earning less than 120% of the average median income. In regards to the CARES Act RLF program, to date, this program provided $7.67 million to 35 businesses and continues to perform well with an A rating program by the EBA for the 2023 annual review. In regards to the traditional RLF program to date, the program provided $5.5 million to 30 businesses. As previously conveyed last month, it should be noted that the RLF administration team has encountered an increase in small businesses facing financial challenges as a result of higher operating costs, interest rates, and vendor supply side challenges. Goran Charov, our legal counsel, has been engaged to represent the SFRPC in ongoing collection efforts of 3 borrowers, and further details could be found in the attached RLF status report. Just a quick update in regards to the specific Angela Dawson litigation, that the SFRPC's hearing request for summary judgment had been rescheduled for March 8th. I plan on personally attending the hearing along with our legal counsel, and I'll provide an update after that at the next board meeting. Finally, just a quick update in regards to the SFRPC's Brownfields initiative. The SFRPC was awarded $500,000 brownfield assessment grant last year in fiscal 2023 by the EPA. That's to be used towards the City of Homestead's community development area. Since that grant was awarded back in July, the work pertaining to site assessment and cleanup, reuse planning has been performed for the priority sites with the completion of a phase 1 and a phase 2, and the project is 50% complete. And separately, the SFRPC was also awarded, if you recall, $1 million brownfield cleanup revolving loan fund. And that was to help clean up the contaminated parcels in the Miami Health District adjacent to the Miami River, the conversion to affordable housing. And this project is 30% complete. And finally, and lastly, we continue to focus our efforts on helping address the cleanup of the former public work site in Hollywood, Florida. And that's into affordable housing and commercial space. And that's will be a coordinated effort between the EPA, the SFRPC, the City of Hollywood, and the developer. The SFRPC anticipates seeking significant financial assistance from the EPA to help with this large project. Thank you all again. We're making considerable impact with our communities.
Thank you, Mr. Chart. And obviously, there are going to be some foreclosures and some bad loans because any bank has them, but we loan to people that are less creditworthy. So we will have a slightly higher, I mean, they still have to qualify, but we are expecting that there will be higher default rate than you would get at most banks, which would have higher standards. So are there any questions of Mr. Tart? If not, thank you, Mr. Tart. Yes, I'm sorry, Mayor Ross, you're recognized, sir.
If not Mr. Tart, maybe, Mr. Gorin, where are we on the Angela Dawson collection?
May I respond, Mr. Chair?
Of course, and I don't need to caution you not to say anything.
No, I was going to caution you, actually.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Let's caution each other. Okay, right. Don't do it. I won't do it. Okay.
Mayor Ross, thank you for the comment. Just as a matter of reference and a matter of public record, there is a motion for a summary judgment hearing, as was mentioned by Jack, on March the 8th before Judge Bidwell. The record speaks for itself. The document speaks for itself. It's been deferred several times. The hearing will be conducted on the 8th. I rest assured, based upon the court's direction, Jeff will be in court along with our office to prosecute the motion, which is both we believe to be well-founded and hopefully will be resolved at that time. So that's about all I can say about it.
Is that a motion for summary judgment on all matters, or is it partial motion?
What's left of the case. We've disposed of much of what is of record in the context of complaints. And the judge, I believe, wants to hear the final arguments on the eighth. It's a public meeting. It's in open court. I forget exactly what time it's at, but it's on the eighth.
Thank you. Do you have any additional questions, Mayor Ross?
No, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Tart. Ms. Gosia Carballo, we are on item room number 6,
Yes,
A.
very quickly, I know today's running fast. So, I just want to point out to the council members, if you look under correspondence and articles, you'll find a copy of the letter that we sent to Miami-Dade County following our conversation in January, where we were fortunate to receive the update from Dr. Dorado, Dr. Moran, and our friends at the Army Corps of Engineers, and also Dr. Jim Murray, when we talked about the flooding and salinity control barriers and the need to expedite with county funding, if necessary, the development of engineering level 3 studies for the unfunded structures. I know that's a lot of words, but the bottom line is, to let you know, we did send that correspondence, and just this Friday, there was a conversation with the Water Management District. I was invited, but wasn't able to attend because of the nominating committee, and all of Mayor Levine Cava's senior staff talking about a study they're doing right now. They're directing a flood response plan that's being spearheaded by the Department of Emergency Management. Mr. Gomez is the director. And the report was that, you know, Miami-Dade County has received this. They understand it's very important, and that they're looking forward to working with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the Water Management District, and the council on expediting the required studies underway by the Corps. And at the same time, they're urging that the Water Management District, which is in the process of actually, you know, with the legislative session, they're getting their appropriations for different projects, that they're looking forward to the 3 structures that are funding, expediting those. So I thought that was a very promising, that was a great meeting. It's good to have that going on. So,
On that topic, by the way, there's just a little typo. 7.5 divided by 2 is 3.75, that's 3.25.
okay, we'll fix it. It was in the-
Great, typo.
Yeah. It was a test to see if anybody would know. So, the other thing that, you know, in addition to working with Treasure Coast Regional Council on the joint council meeting coming up, close to our joint council conference, we're also working with Senator Garcia and his staff, and a wonderful woman named Mary Mayhew, who is a former secretary of the Department of
ACA, Agency for Health Administration.
That's it. So we've been working with staff, and we're working towards our date, where the date we're shooting for is May 31st to have a South Florida Regional Planning Council conference sponsored. And it's going to be about how do we support mental health? How do we provide a stable living and supportive environment for people struggling with mental health?
If I can on that, this is something where we are really fortunate to have Senator Garcia as one of our officers. Senator Garcia chaired the Healthcare Committee in the Florida Senate.
Mm-hmm.
He is a real recognized expert on this. And although I normally chair meetings, I've asked Senator Garcia to chair this meeting. This is something that is important to him personally, and that he is a recognized expert on. Senator Garcia, did you have any comments on this? Or you don't have to, but you're welcome to.
No, I appreciate you, Chairman, and I appreciate your confidence. Expert, I don't know, but I just worked in the field a long time and legislated on it, and we did do a big rewrite when I was in the legislature, but it is an issue that's really concerning to a lot of folks, and it's not, I mean, mental health touches all of our lives, and mental health and substance abuse, but when you throw in the housing component to it, it makes it so much more difficult. Than when you have a stable housing, these individuals, it makes it so much easier to get them into treatment and keep them on treatment. So I thank you for the confidence and making sure that we try to bring some light to this real desperate issue that affects all of our communities, and especially in Dade and Broward and Monroe County. So I appreciate you. We're working on it. Isabel has been awesome. Idaida, and my chief of staff has been working very close with Isabel to make sure we have a great program ahead for everyone.
And Senator, if you've worked in this for many years and you've chaired the committee that regulates that, I would proffer you as an expert, whether you agree or not, but all right.
Far too
That's
kind.
just-
Thank
That's
you.
just inside lawyer joking.
So I would
Isabel.
I would like to recognize Randy DeShazo and also Valda Goli, who's been helping with this. Randy's been doing a lot of, we've been meeting a lot and he's been really massaging the draft agenda. We're awaiting comment from Senator Garcia after he has a chance to look at it, but we're very excited. It makes a really good follow-up. Senator Garcia hosted a forum on mental health in December that Randy and I attended. It was excellent forum. And so this is gonna build on that work and it's moving forward. So happy to report that back. I'm also happy to let you know that, again, through our economic development district, as you know, we have been working to support, well, to start and support the tech hub applications going, it's due soon. And Randy's been very involved in that, so has the Ralda. And Randy, in fact, was accommodating at the very last minute. He was able to join in a trip to Washington DC to meet with representatives elected, but also agency heads, talking about their tech hub and how to move that forward. I don't know if you have like a few words you want to say real quick, Randy?
No, it was very instructive, following the rest of the delegation to DC, meeting with elected officials, but also agency staff to explain the value of the climate tech initiative. And we all felt it was very constructive. I feel like we built a lot of support in DC for our application.
That's wonderful, thank you. And lastly, our contract with the Department of Defense is winding down. We have a couple of important meetings that we have to have very quickly in the next month with the installations and also the elected officials. What we're thinking of doing, we got the executive summary, the report's this thick. It's posted on our website. We're gonna print out the executive summary for the elected officials so that they get an overview of what was going on and also refer them to the full report with greater detail. But I will be contacting through you, council member, to see if we can come down to Monroe County, just give a quick little overview of what we did. And also meet with Key West, because what we're trying to do now is work with the installation personnel and the local governments to identify projects that DOD funding can go move forward. So again, an extra source of money that we didn't have access to before, and then we'll be going also to Miami-Dade and Broward as well, but we have a lot of work to do because we don't have enough going on. So, but it's all very exciting, and I'd like to especially recognize Christina Mitzkis, Haley Lazzaroni, and council staff who have been really spearheading this for the last year and a half.
Thank you. Are there any questions of the executive director? Are there any questions? If not, thank you, Isabel.
Thank you.
Ms. Gorin,
Thank you.
you're up, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senator, just for the record, the Dolphin case is the primary focus of our attention on the 8th of March. There are other cases that are referred to in our report that are worth noting. There aren't that many, quite frankly, that actually head into foreclosure, but there are risks involved because of the nature of the borrowers. Not that they're bad people, just that their limitations are what they are, and that's why they're not seeing loans from commercial lenders. There's no other litigation of any consequence to report about the council. We'll give you a quick update on after the 8th of March. To the extent that anyone has any questions or comments, I'm happy to entertain them offline individually on the subject. It is a fairly thick file. That's enough I can say for the record.
Thank you. Are there any questions of Mr. Gorin? If not, thank you, sir. Council members report. Mayor Ross, are you still on? Mayor Ross? Mayor Ross?
He might be on another call.
Greg? Hey, you. Okay. I was going to ask.
Yes, I'm here.
Hi. Okay. Can you give us 4 or 5 minutes at most, update on the solid waste task force?
I could do quicker than that. We have had a meeting of the executive committee, which has now limited the selections down for the executive director. We will be interviewing 4 different individuals, 2 local, 2 non-local. And the governing board has passed all the actions that the executive committee has done. So we are well on our way to moving forward with the authority and its actions.
Thank you, Mayor Ross. Are there any questions? If not, are there, yes.
Real quick report, Isabel and I represented SFRPC at the FRCA not too many weeks ago. It was another.
For those that are new members, the FRCA is the Florida
Regional Council Association.
Right.
So all of the regional councils throughout the state gather twice a year. Our contribution in terms of discussion was on clean energy. It was a good discussion, and it's always good to attend, good relationships, good networking, a lot of exchange of good ideas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any additional members that have updates? Mine is normally the same. I rant and rave about the fact that we're going to be underwater unless we're able to get something done quickly. Does any other member have any update that they wish to report on?
I think Councilmember Bailey.
Councilmember Bailey, former Chair Bailey, you recognize, sir.
Mr. Chair, thank you. I was recently appointed by the Department of Energy as a ambassador for their equity and energy. Wanted to know at some point, I would love to have someone from the Department of Energy to speak to the council about the funding that the state will be receiving for the rebate programs. There are 2 programs that our states will be receiving. I think this is a very important issue, because if we're not aware of it, I think a lot of our most like our vulnerable population will be left behind on the program. So I just want to make sure that all the different counties are aware of it, because it's a very important program.
Mario, was that a federal appointment or a state appointment?
Federal.
Thank you. All right, Isabel, let's see what we can do on that. Getting something like that on a future agenda.
I can definitely work with Councilmember Bailey, since I work closely with the Department of Energy for our Clean Cities program, and I know very intimately about the Justice 40 initiative, so I can definitely work with him.
Great. Okay, former Chair Bailey will work with that.
Yeah.
Are you, yes, okay. Any other members? If not, we'll go into ex officio. Mr. Moore, at DEP, you're recognized, sir.
Hey, good morning. Per Isabel's request, I wanted to just provide a quick update regarding the Clean Water Act Section 404 permitting authority. So in 2020, with EPA approval, DEP assumed, as many of you may know, the Section 404 permitting, which involves wetland dredge and fill activities, function previously held by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers back on the 16th of this month. A federal judge with the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia ruled to vacate the EPA's approval of that assumption package, citing issues specifically with Section 7 and the requirement for biological opinions associated with the Endangered Species Act. What that means essentially is all 404 applications and future permit applications that would come to the state are on hold. Following that ruling, the judge did grant the department with a 10-day window to request a temporary stay, which may allow for some projects to move forward, especially those that don't involve the Section 7 component and those biological opinions. I can confirm the department will be requesting that temporary stay. However, what that formally looks like is still to be determined for those projects that may move forward, whether it's the DEP or the Army Corps that would move forward on them. Again, and process those applications is still to be determined. Again, everything is on hold, and as soon as we get more guidance and more information, I'll provide that to you all. Obviously, this comes as great disappointment to the department. We were the first state in 30 years to achieve assumption, and one of only 3 states to acquire the role, joining both Michigan and New Jersey. A lot of work went into the assumption. A lot of work went to the implementation over the last 36 months. So again, as I get more information, I'll keep you all apprised. Thank you.
Thank you, and let's see what happens if once DEP files, if the federal judge grants the stay. Let's see, that win or anyone from FDOT? Do you have a report?
Yeah, Shireen here. Nothing to report from FDOT. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Let's see, Armando Villaboy or anyone from SFWMD?
Sounds like a.
Good morning, Armando Villaboy with SSWMD. Just wanted to bring up that we are working with Miami-Dade County on acquiring an easement over at East Reynolds Park for a structure upgrade to S29. I know that a lot of conversation took place around C9 today, so just wanted to bring that up that we are working with Miami-Dade County for an upgrade to S29, and we are also have a brick grant that we're working with Miami-Dade County on also for S28, also for pump upgrades in those at those two locations. So wanted to bring that up and update. That's all I have.
Okay, is there any update on any the federal restudy, or I know we've been asking for just a smaller portion, just that portion affecting Dade, Broward, and the southern half of Palm Beach. The last I'd heard, there was an issue where we were asking, I think we compromised on like, what was it, 18 or 19 million dollars that we were asking for. Can you give us a brief update on that?
I'd actually, we don't have an update after that. I know that we went through and saw the 18 million update, but we haven't heard anything past that at this point.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yep.
Appreciate it. And
I'll mention through chair that there is a big resilience forum being held at the Water Management District this Wednesday, that one can go and sign up to be able to access it by Zoom. Dr. Brooks from the state of Florida will be there among other people. There will be a CFF update. So I'll send that around everybody so you can have a look at it. And if you're interested, you can get an update there.
thank you. Mr. Ari, did you have any update?
No updates at this time, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Since you did just join us, you wouldn't know what update is.
3 minutes ago.
All right, I think that was all the ex officios. Did I miss any ex officio? If not, by the way, try and end the meetings on time, so we have approximately 2 minutes. The attendance form has been passed out, correspondence and articles, as Isabel discussed earlier. You know about the Friday, March 15th meeting. Please, 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 please try and attend that.
And very importantly, if I could.
Yes, of course.
Next month's meeting is at the Miami-Dade County TPO. It will not be here. It will be at the TPO in Miami-Dade County. And I have a very interesting presentation among other agenda items that will come up. We are going to be receiving a presentation from RER and Charles LaFrade, who's the agricultural manager on Miami-Dade County's recent ag study. So that should be very interesting, and I think you'll find it a worthwhile program. So please try to be there.
And please, the remaining meetings are listed Monday, April 15th here, Monday, May 20th here, and Friday, May 31st is our regional conference. We have a minute and a half left. Are there any announcements? Are there any announcements? Is there any other new business to come in front of us before we adjourn? Any other new business? Senator Garcia, did you have? No, okay. Any other new business? Seeing no new business, we have 40 seconds. Is there a motion to adjourn? Moved by Councilmember Kaplan, seconded by Councilmember Lincoln. All those in favor?
Thirded by me.
All those in favor, please signify aye. Aye. Please show us adjourned.
Thank you.